Well, Ange, thank you very much for spending the time with us down here in lovely Melbourne. Firstly, your 23-man squad for this upcoming game against Ecuador. In summary, your process and your method behind it all.
Yeah, obviously this was a key game for us moving forward. It's the last sort of game we'll have together as a group before the 30-man squad anyway for the World Cup's announced. So it was a pretty important game for us, and I've been on a scouting trip of Europe and Middle East and with an eye to this game and trying to get as much information, and this kind of squad was going to give me the chance to sort of experiment a little bit, have a look at a few different players who maybe weren't on my radar or on the national team radar. Also coupled with the fact that it's still preparation for a major tournament, so it's a bit of a balancing act between guys I wanted to try out and also not wasting this game as an opportunity to prepare for the biggest tournament in the world.
And before we get to some of the new faces that you have included, firstly a word on some of the omissions. Three very experienced players, Lucas Neal, Mark Bresciano and Josh Kennedy, who were there against Costa Rica, aren't there this time around. Just a line on each of those guys who won't be there.
Yeah, look, again, with this game being in March, there was some unique circumstances around some players, and I said all along that playing regularly, playing well are all going to be sort of indicators of selection in the squad. And also with the fact that being in Europe, there was some other considerations with some guys in Asia. Their league's not starting until right now, and the triple cross. So I balanced the whole range of things, and with those kind of individuals, obviously with Lucas, him not playing and not having a club at the moment means he's in a real challenging position. And as I said, for this squad, very mindful of the fact that we needed to try a few things, but also put out a team that's going to be fit and a team that's match hardened, because we've got a pretty tough opponent in Ecuador. So I guess with Lucas, the major issue is just finding himself a club and playing some regular football. A similar scenario for Marco Bresciano. Obviously his suspension comes up now in the next week or so, which is great, and I guess the advantage for him, he's already got a club, he knows where he's going to be playing, so he's still very much in the plans, and I guess just for him just to get some match fitness, and I didn't want to take him all the way across to Europe without him being match fit and potentially only playing a few minutes. Similar scenario with Josh Kennedy. Obviously the Japanese league, the J-League, is just about to begin now, so again, to take him all the way across Europe, I think they've got a game that weekend, so it would have meant a quick turnaround for him. So I kind of already know what Josh has to offer, and he's very much in the plans. So from my perspective, made sense to try a couple of new blokes.
To a few of the new faces, 4 uncapped players in this team: Curtis Good, Ben Halloran, Chris Hurd, Massimo Luongo. Tell us what we can expect from those 4.
Yeah, all sort of looking at different things with all those players. Curtis, look, I watched him with the under-22s, which is a really important tournament for us in Oman, and I thought Curtis and a couple of other players were standouts, particularly Curtis, and I had a brief chat to him saying he's got to get himself some regular football, because I really see him as somebody who could be an outstanding defender for us in the future. But pleasing thing is he's got himself a club. He's played regularly the last 2 or 3 weeks at Dundee United. As I said, one for the future, but also one for the present. I really rate him very highly, and I'm hoping that by giving him some exposure at international level, he kind of kickstarts his career even at domestic level. Massimo Luongo, I watched play for Swindon. I've followed again, young player with some promise, hasn't been around the national team. I guess more for him is to get him around the national team, see how he fits into our culture. Certainly a talented young player, doing the hard yards in League One, a difficult league, but playing regularly. So I wanted to get a good look at him. Benny Halloran's been going pretty well in the German second division, and again he's one who is an eye for the future. But with us being in Europe and the game being in Europe, good chance to bring him in and have a look at him under those sort of circumstances. And Chris Hurd, Chris is probably one I've made the exception in terms of playing regularly, only because he's very highly rated at Villa. I spoke to people at Villa about him. He's had his injury problems. It looks like he's overcome those, hasn't played yet, but with this being our only camp between now and the World Cup, I was really keen to bring him in, have a look at him, and he's keen to get involved. So again, with all those 4, it's a matter of indoctrinating them into national team football and see how they fit in, but certainly if they do well, they'll have a good chance and stake their claims for the World Cup squad.
And a further 4 new faces in terms of your tenure with the Socceroos. Matt Spranovic comes back in, Luke Wilkshire, Adam Srota and Brad Jones. A line on each of those 4.
Yeah, Matthew Spranovic has obviously had a really strong season with Western Sydney. Good to see. Again, for him, I think it was more about just playing regular football again. He plays in a position where we need some people coming up, particularly with the loss of Reece Williams recently. I'm pleased that he's playing regular football, and I'm looking to give him an opportunity at national team level again. Luke Wilkshire again. With Luke, he didn't make the Costa Rica camp, but again, he's an experienced player. Dynamo Moscow are just starting sort of their season, I think, in a couple of weeks' time. And again, with Luke, I wanted to bring him back in and have a look at him within the squad. He does add a lot of experience, and obviously with some experience missing out this group, chance to bring him back in and see what he has to offer, in terms of where we're heading. It was important to bring him back in. I watched Adam play for Utrecht when I was over in Europe, and he's taken small steps after his recovery, and again he's played some regular football now, which is pleasing, and again rated very highly at Utrecht. Obviously know Adam from my Brisbane Roar days, and I'm pretty pleased that he's fit again after an ACL injury that kept him out for 12 months. And again, I see him as somebody not just for the future, but somebody maybe contribute right now. Brad Jones, again with the goalkeeping positions, and this game being in Europe, Brad's had a couple of games with in the Liverpool first team, last one against Arsenal, which he did very well in. And as I said, with the game being in Europe, it made sense to bring him in. And I know Tony Franklin, our goalkeeping coach, rates him very highly, so it'll be good. And he adds a bit of experience to our goalkeeping ranks. Obviously with Matt Ryan and Mitch, both young goalkeepers, it's good to back him up with some experience there.
Just to backtrack a little to the 3 experienced boys who were out of this camp, Bresciano, Neil, Kennedy, some 200 Socceroos caps between the 3. Who in this current squad now will you look to become the nominal leaders of this new group?
Look, there's still experience in this group. Obviously, Mile Jednak is doing really well at Palace. Has a great deal of experience at national team level. Timmy Cahill, as I said, we brought back in Luke Wilkshire. So we still got experience within the group, and then, I think it's time for some of the other group who have been in the squad for a while, people like Mark Milligan, Matty Mackay, to also step up and take some leadership within it. The rest of the squad is fairly inexperienced, very inexperienced at international level, and even in terms of age, very young. So, it'll be incumbent on those guys and maybe some others to step up and if there is a vacuum in the leadership to fill it.
And Ange, word on 2 players who under no circumstances could have been a part of the camp, in Reece Williams and Robbie Cruz, who have each battling their serious injuries, and also Trent Sainsbury. Was he in calculations for this squad before he suffered that injury as well?
Yeah, certainly. Trent was another one that would have been in this camp. I watched his first game in Holland, and again, he arrived there and was pretty much thrown straight in the first team, and they, and his club were very keen to play him immediately and rate him highly. So it would have been pleasing for him to get a few games under his belt, and he certainly would have been part of this camp. But his injury is not a long-term one, so from that perspective, he has a chance to get back in the team and play regularly, and still very much in the calculations. It was a massive blow to lose both Robbie Cruz and Reece Williams. Both playing great football at their clubs, and obviously they're the kind of injuries you never ever want in your career, but definitely not in a World Cup year. And I felt for both the boys their disappointment. But they're both working on their rehab really hard, and I guess the beauty for them is that they're both young enough that this certainly wasn't going to be their last World Cup. And I know both of them have got a real aim and goal to be up and running for the Asia Cup, which is just around the corner. So hugely disappointing for them and for us, but as I said, from their career perspective, still plenty to offer.
And last few questions, Ange. Firstly, to the players that missed out on this camp, I'm sure that you have a much greater pool of players to choose from. For those that aren't there in London in a week or so, what's your message?
Oh, look, it's still very much open door. I mean, there was quite a few who, as I said, some through circumstance, particularly the players playing in Asia, who the leagues are just beginning. They're still very much on the radar, and their form, club form, will be a big indicator of that. So, Alex Wilkerson, Mitch Nichols, Luke DeVere, Brendan Hamill, all the players who are playing in Japan, China, Korea, the Middle East, Brett Holman, Alex Brosk, still have an opportunity to get back in the squad with good form. There's still players in Europe some who I saw over there who are pretty close to getting a look in, and again, if they continue their club form and play well, the door's open, and quite a few in the A-League. Again, with the A-League obviously playing that weekend, it was a bit of a juggling act to see which ones I would call across, and I was pretty mindful of not calling anyone who wasn't going to play some significant game time. But there's some guys who are definitely knocking on the door. The likes of James Troisi and Adam Taggart, Josh Brillanti, Summer Malik. They're all showing some good form. Some of the guys who have come back from overseas back into the A-League. Certainly the door's still well open, and like I said, the most compelling thing that they can present is good club form. That's not a guarantee that will get you in the team, but it's a guarantee that you won't get ignored.
And just lastly, Ange, Ecuador, a fellow World Cup qualifying team, a big game, the Den in London, the game itself and the couple of days you've got to work with your squad leading up to it, what are you trying to get out of it?
Look, it's a very important game for us. As I said, it's sort of the last game, and it's a quality opponent. Ecuador, as we said, made the World Cup, and again, it'll be a tough challenge for us. I guess the idea of having it in Europe is we won't have a lot of time with the players. With everyone playing that weekend, some players won't arrive in camp till the Monday. There's a couple from Australia that won't arrive till Monday afternoon. So we really will only have one, maybe two sessions with the players. So it's a fairly quick turnaround, but that doesn't mean we can't get some meaningful work done. And certainly, the game is a very key component of our preparation, and we'll be setting up the team with a view looking ahead to the World Cup and the way we want to play there. And we sort of began that road against Costa Rica, and we want to build on that. That was a solid performance. We want to build on that, and certainly the players backing up from that game will already have had a taste of it. But the new ones, it's about trying to get as much information into them as possible. We've done a lot of work in the time in between, in analysis of our opponents, analysis of our own performances, individuals and as a team. So they'll get a lot of information in those 2 or 3 days, and I'm certainly looking for a strong performance against Ecuador. So we continue to build on that positive feeling we had after the Costa Rica game.
Well, Ange, we thank you very much for your time. Safe travels to London, and all the very best against Ecuador.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.